Welcome to Unfiltered 3, spilling the tea with
Cece,
Autumn,
and Bree.
Hi, friends.
Welcome back. We have an exciting episode for you today.
How are you guys? I hope you're doing well.
We are, the energy in this room right now is so hyped because, drum roll.
My best friend is on the episode with us today. Her name is Grace.
Woo-woo.
Hello, Grace.
Hi, guys. I'm beyond excited to be here. This is surreal that this... I'm so excited.
I feel those butterflies, those excited butterflies right now.
Yes. Just so you guys know, this is the fourth to our 3.
Yeah.
She lives in another state.
Unfortunately.
But, we're trying to plant the seed that she might move back up here.
Listen, there's just a couple players we got to convince. I could be convincing. We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be the Unfiltered 4 in a couple years.
I do not hate that idea.
I love it.
That would be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, Grace, do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Grace. I live in the DC area. Currently, is where I grew up. I used to live up here with these guys for a couple summers. And I don't know, I work in construction, which is pretty cool, being a woman in construction.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So that's a whole, I could probably talk the whole separate podcast about what it's like to be a female in the construction industry.
I bet.
And I'm a mom to 2 wonderful kids, and I have a stepson as well, so I have 3. My stepson is 9, and then we have a 6-year-old daughter, and then our 7-month-old baby, who is currently a nighttime terror. But that's okay. We love him. He's adorable.
I know, we've been telling Grace to make a middle of the night momcast.
It might happen just so I have something to do at 3 o'clock in the morning when the baby decides it's party time.
But he's such a happy baby at the same time.
He is so happy. And you can't even be upset at 3 o'clock in the morning because it's not like he's crying. He just wants to hang out with you.
He's just awake.
Little Sagittarius baby just wants to snuggle.
Aww.
You make some cute kids.
You do.
Oh, thanks. I tried really, really hard with those genetics.
Something you didn't mention is that she's also related to Bree's fiance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's true. I guess we're all kind of related in some way. So, Bree's fiance, Andrew, is my mom's twin brother's son. So he's my cousin. And then I couldn't even get into the family tree at this point. It's Autumn is related to my daughter through my daughter's father. They're cousins. And Sia she might as well be related to us too at this point.
I was deemed honorary member of the family the other day.
Yes, you were.
Officially.
An official one of us. Which, I mean, you've been an official member of the family for as long as I can remember. So
It didn't start when she started making the parfaits.
Well, I mean, that's the only reason I invite her to parties.
That was
if we're
just
being
a
totally
bonus.
honest. It's the parfait.
I know.
We all have to bring something to the table. I bring my kids. I'm just the kids' mom now, and Cece brings the parfaits.
Desserts.
It's just the way it is.
All right. So we have another Tipsy Tarot episode today.
Tipsy Tarot in the morning.
Yes, we are filming in the morning where we normally film in the evening or record. I always say film.
I know.
But there's no camera.
Someday.
Thank God.
Yes, that's a goal. That's a goal, but we're not there yet. We're recording in the morning, Sunday morning to be exact. We have energy drinks, not mimosas, but we did take a shot.
Yes, our tipsiness are from shots today because it is also a Sunday and we could not go and buy champagne because we didn't think ahead.
But so we have a fun tarot episode, and it's special because Grace is here, but not only it's her first tarot reading.
Yes.
Never done this before.
I'm excited to see what the cards have to say.
I'm very excited to see what the cards have to say. They've never spoken to me before.
Also, this is our first time reading with a new deck that we
Oh,
bought
yes.
specifically for you guys for this podcast.
Yes, it's called Mystic Mondays.
It's so pretty.
The artwork is by Grace Duong.
Wow.
Interesting.
Okay.
I could be pronouncing her last name wrong though, so
Well, I just love that
I
it's a
do
Grace with a
apologize.
with a
It's a Grace D.
yeah. But yeah, these are really pretty cards. They have a silver gilded. Is that the name for it? When they do that
It's got a
it's the
holographic
foil.
side.
Yeah. And it shines rainbow. It's really pretty.
It's gorge.
And these cards are honest.
That's what I need. I don't need to be told what I want to hear. I
Yeah.
need to be told what I need to hear.
Well, I
'cause
think that's one of the reasons why we were drawn to this. I mean, like it said, Mystic Mondays. We push our podcast out on Mondays. So we're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. We wanted a deck for, our podcast space specific for these types of episodes. And then we did that first reading.
We did a deck interview with it.
Interrogation.
Yeah, that's what happens.
But it was just like, we're going to be brutally honest in a loving environment. And we're like, oh my gosh, that's what we like.
The message we were looking for.
Well, I know with you guys and our friendship over the years, that's been, a running theme in our friendship is the kind and loving, brutal honesty, which I think is what's kept us all together this many years is, knowing this is a group where I can come to with anything at all and there's no BS ever.
I love that.
I know, I'm feeling the love.
Question is, does Grace want to hold them and put her energy into them?
Is that what we do? Cool.
Think about your question.
You can shuffle them. You can just hold them.
Don't throw them all over the room.
Okay. We will try not to mess this up. I'm holding my mic, so one hand here.
Yeah, today we're doing a decision-making spread, it seems like. So for anyone, if you're feeling pulled in two different ways, anything that might pertain to you, this will also do a generalized reading at the end. And if anything resonates with you, the saying goes, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And right now, Grace is putting her energy into the cards, thinking about whatever decision she needs to make and whether she's going to have papaya or mango in the morning for breakfast tomorrow. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That is what these cards are here to tell me. No, I am just thinking about maybe a career change, not necessarily career change, but
like a lateral move.
Whether it's within the company I'm with now or with a new company. An opportunity may have come up to even start a business on the side, trying to figure out if maybe that's the right move or, there's a lot of options right now and I've been feeling slightly stagnant where I'm at and I don't like that feeling. So I think it's time for a change. It's just very difficult trying to figure out what the right change is and what the right move is, especially having children, trying to decide, that change isn't just going to affect me, it's going to affect my fiance, it's going to affect my kids, there's a lot that weighs on a big change like this and I'm not sure if it's a decision that's going to have to be made quickly, depending on a conversation that I'm going to have next week, or if it's something to be able to ruminate on for a while. I don't know what the right thing is, and I hope these cards kind of help me get there.
Yeah, there's a lot of aspects and different levels and layers to decisions like that. It's a big decision to make.
Absolutely, especially because it could affect the rest of my life, which is just woo,
Yeah.
Big.
And I'm comfortable where I'm at, but I don't know if I like sitting in that comfort anymore.
Yeah, that's normally when change is needed, is when you start to feel comfy.
Yeah, and for me, comfy is good, but comfy gets boring. And when I'm bored, I'm not inspired. When I'm not inspired, I'm not doing my best work.
Yeah.
So kind of where we're at.
All the energy, I feel like that was good. It's all in there. The vibe is set.
The vibe is here, ladies.
All right, so this is the decision-making spread from the Tamed Wild Tarot Book Guide. And the first card is your main motivation. In truth, What is your main motivation? This card gets to the root of the situation and offers insight into what is driving you.
So is this the kind of thing where you go with whatever card it literally just spits out?
Yes,
Mhm.
and
And it can be more than one?
yep.
Yeah.
Just so everyone's aware, this is a 6-card spread. Last tarot episode, we did a 7-card spread that turned into 15 cards. This just spit 2 cards out. So I'm curious if we're going to end up in that situation.
Well, remember, the
We
cards
might.
have never spoken to me
Oh
before.
yeah.
Mhm.
So what did the cards have to say?
The cards. So another quick note, these cards have reverse meanings. So when we read on the Antique Anatomy Tarot, we haven't done reversed.
That's true.
And I say that because we have a first reversal.
Mm.
So her main motivation is the Nine of Wands and then the King of Wands reversed. So 2 wands.
What does reversal mean?
So you have your card that comes up like right facing. So like the words are on the bottom, it's correct. And then you have your card that fell
Oh,
is upside down. So it has a
Mhm.
reversed meaning.
Oh.
And then
Yeah.
there's 2 meanings for each one.
I like that it has a little guidebook. That's helpful.
9 was right up.
Yep.
Okay. 9 of Wands. Wisdom, perseverance, last stretch. Almost there. You can see the finish line, and at the last minute, you are faced with another obstacle. This challenge can be seen as a setback or a test of your character. Expect the worst and protect yourself against any foreseeable attacks. Better to be prepared than to be sorry later. Throughout this journey, you have accumulated experience and gained enough wisdom to handle anything that is thrown your way. You've gained tools to deal with your inner struggles, and now you have the confidence in your abilities to overcome and persevere. Trust in your strength and power to make it to that end. Learn from your mistakes so that you can navigate setbacks easily in the future. Challenges are difficult, but believe in your abilities to make it through. You can do it.
Holy shit! If that doesn't speak to what we just talked about, just about where I'm sitting, like right now, what the
Mhm.
motivation is for this change is facing that decision and the difficulties that come with it, and trying to figure out which way to go. Like that's wow. Can I look at that? real quick?
Sure.
Yeah, Grace's face the whole time. Autumn
Mhm.
was reading it, was just like wide-eyed, like mind blown. Holy shit!
And I'm not saying I'm skeptical of tarot, but I've never done it before, and for that to be a first card pull after
Yeah.
everything that I just talked about,
Yeah.
wow. But especially like a lot of what my, hesitation in possibly like a lateral move or even like an upward move is wondering if I have literally the experience to handle it,
Mm-hmm.
because there's always that imposter syndrome when it comes to career.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I still feel like I'm like 12. And I don't like, why am I even working in some place that handles?
Am I actually an adult?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. No. But I have 3 kids, so I guess I have to be. And it telling me that I have the confidence in my abilities, I think that's also something that's kind of sparked this need for change, is recently discovering that I have way more confidence in what I do and what I want to be doing than I thought I did. Because I had a recent thing that happened at work where I had to really, really step up, and I was nervous about it, but I realized I just kind of flowed through it.
Mhm.
And I had the confidence to make the decisions and make the calls and talk to the people who were like the key players without any anxiety or issues at all. And I think that it's just here. This is just wild.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the part that stuck out to me most, is that like solar plexus energy of like having that inner confidence to be able to
Yep.
get this done.
And that's kind of how I feel about myself now. Like if I
Yeah.
compare myself now to where I was even like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, in every aspect of my life, not just work,
Mhm.
with growing up, I guess,
Mhm.
just the confidence in my abilities in general and just as a person has
It's
really.
just confidence in yourself.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
In being you. It helps in so many different avenues of your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm completely with you on that.
But I can see
Mhm.
how that confidence can be a motivator.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. How do you think that this would relate to like a general fork in the road kind of thing? Like the same thing, just making sure you have that confidence in yourself in any, situation that pops up in your life.
I think maybe it's like waiting to like, don't rush into a decision without feeling at least some semblance of confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you have your ducks in a row.
Yeah, that planning aspect of it was like you have all the things, you're looking at all the things, and you have that confidence within yourself that once you have all of that in place, you'll be able to make the decision, and that's like your driving force.
Yeah, I love
That's where
that.
I was. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I forget they can't see me sometimes, and I'm like,
I know.
Ugh.
I'm like sitting here nodding to Grace, and I'm like, should I just input Autumn is nodding?
Edit that in.
So I'm curious how the reversal of is that the Knight?
It's the King of Wands.
King of Wands, how that plays in with the Nine of Wands. Because remember, this is still for the same question.
Oh.
What's your motivator?
Mhm.
Okay. Controlling and aggressive behavior can make for an oppressive experience with the King of Wands reversed. There is an attitude of my way or the highway, and it can
I think it's time for another shot.
I don't know what that was. My mouth got stuck on the C's. And it can create distrust when people feel they haven't been seen or listened to. Passion is fueled by a fear instead of inspiration, and that can lead to jumpy and impulsive decision making. The King of Wands reversed warns you of taking people for granted in the pursuit of your goals. Manipulation and intimidation can be used to serve his agenda, with no intention of returning any favors. Expectations are set too high, and you are struggling to live up to these standards. Look at the big picture and see that maintaining healthy relationships is also part of your vision. Evaluate your goals and what is most important to you. And I smacked my hand on the table. What did you think about that?
Yeah.
I think what the immediate like thought that just like popped in my head was don't burn the bridges where you're at now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't just because you're thinking of a change doesn't mean you're gone yet, and it doesn't mean that the people who you have relationships with, oh, there's a motorcycle. The people you have relationships with, you know, are still people. They're still around you. You can't, and I think that was something also that's actually been weighing heavy on my mind is, you know, I've been with at least the company I've been with, it's the only place I've ever worked. And so I have
Right.
very deep
Mhm.
relationships with these people, you know, and they've seen me through like a lot of changes in my life. And I think a huge part of like my hesitance in making a large change is losing these people. And I think this card is kind of telling me, like, don't lose these people. It doesn't mean you
Mhm.
can't make a change,
Yeah.
but don't burn that bridge. Don't manipulate your way, you know, into somewhere else and then drop what you
Yeah.
have. Like
Yeah.
make a seamless or
A network.
yeah,
Yeah.
like continue keeping
Mhm.
the network and continue being positive. But also I kind of got a feeling of be honest about where you're at with the people like that you're with it like right now, like be where your feet are kind of thing. And don't like tell the people where you're at, like, hey,
Mhm.
this is what I'm thinking, instead of just showing up one day and being like, peace out.
Yeah.
Hope skillet.
Yeah.
So something that stuck out to me was like, so this is like having confidence in your abilities, right?
Yeah.
And making sure that you're constantly providing for that confidence in your abilities. So like you're giving yourself the work that needs to be done or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And then I got the feeling of like, okay, well, you really love this company. You've been there for a while. The big deciding factor on like what's next is, should I leave them? Should I not leave them? I have found in companies that I have worked for with similar connections that when I did choose to leave them and I didn't have that conversation with them first, like I just put my 2 weeks notice in, that they were then like, what? We would have found you a position that
Right.
suited you. So I was like, okay, I think maybe in this journey or path you're about to take, have that conversation with whoever you trust in your superior supervision, supervisor, whatever the damn word is,
Yeah.
management,
Right. Yeah.
and
my
say,
boss or
hey,
whoever.
this
Yeah.
is, this is where I'm at. I'm at the very moment. I'm not feeling, I still have passion for the company, but like I'm losing the passion in the position itself.
Well, the way you just said that is exactly how I'm feeling. Like I
Yeah.
love my
Yeah.
company and I love the work we do, and my job is so boring.
Mm-hmm. And I think that through having that conversation, you're going to have that end result that you need to then take that next step. Like it'll be like, oh, hey, this company, you want to stay with them because they see your worth. They're going to
Right.
put
And
that
that's what I've
time back into
gotten.
you.
Yeah, that's what I've gotten from them over the years. Like they've
Mhm.
always been helpful and been what I needed and like helped me out in wherever I was.
Mhm.
So that I definitely don't doubt that they would do that. There's just been a few things where I've kind of asked for a change and it's kind of been brushed off, and that's kind of that's why
Yeah.
I'm where I'm at. But I also maybe need to sit down and have like a very direct conversation.
I would. I
Yeah.
think that that's always best, especially when it comes to business type
Right.
conversations around this kind of thing, is that you can simply say like, look, I'm having a conversation with another company next week about a potential job position, but because I've put so much time into this company and you've put so much time into my
Right.
life and I'm passionate about you guys and I have these connections and I respect the hell out of you and all of that, I want to have this discussion because if there is a position that I can take on that fulfills me in the way that I need, I would like to stick with you guys.
Right. And I think that is 100% the case if that were to happen.
Yeah.
If the numbers were right and if the position was right, then I don't see why I would need to make that large of a
Yeah.
jump.
And if they can't do that, then you
Well, then
know
I
that
would
you have
know.
other options
Yeah.
and stuff of
And
that nature.
I
Yeah.
think I would also know that I didn't burn the bridge
Right.
Yeah.
as well. Like I
Mhm.
didn't just kind of sneak out.
Right.
I did the right thing by all parties.
Mhm.
Yeah. And just generally speaking, one thing that I pulled off of that card is almost like a duality with the previous card.
Mhm.
Like the first card, you're having all the things set out, your different directions, you're confident. And then this King of Wands reverse is like fear is what I got as a motivation. Like don't make your decision based on fear, right? Because you
Mhm.
could either make that decision out of confidence or you can make that decision out of fear, and it kind of feels like a warning. Like
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Don't let your insecurities cloud your judgment.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I definitely feel that. Yeah. Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's so good.
This is really starting quite positive. Like such good messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really relating to the energy I put in the cards. Wow.
I mean, spot on.
Like I said, I wasn't skeptical, but I've never done this before. So
I always say I'm a want to believer.
yes,
Mhm.
yes.
I think that
I
there's
want
just
to believe her.
there's always that sense of wonder.
Correct.
You're like, oh, okay.
I'm also a see it to believe it kind of person.
Yeah.
So like I've listened to you guys do tarot before, but I've never done it personally myself.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I see like every time I listen to you guys do tarot, I'm like, wow, like that really related to everything they were talking about. And sometimes I related to things in my life as well. But sitting here actually pulling cards, like after I put my own energy in there, we're only 2 cards in, guys.
Oh, it can be an intense experience. One of my first tarot readings was brutal.
I'm sorry.
The cards like to call me out.
I also just want to say that the energy in the room right now, like I'm sensitive to energy, but it is intense right now. Like this, everything that's going into this reading right now is just I feel the emotions being pulled one way and another too. Like we start
Yep.
talking about the confidence, like I'm feeling it. I'm very taking on the emotions right now. And it's just,
High vibes.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I started to tear up at one point, and I'm like,
Mhm.
nope, not yet, because I start feeling things, and when I feel them like
Cece,
that, I get
are you by any chance a serious empath?
beyond belief, beyond.
And a Cancer.
Yeah.
Oh, there
yeah.
it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No wonder you get along with my daughter so well. She's also a Cancer and an empath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Yes.
didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was telling Grace, hold it in, because my birthday's very close.
No.
Maybe early, but hold it in.
Early is always okay.
Yeah.
And then I
Wow.
was on the second child telling her to push it out faster.
I would have been 100% okay with that one.
All right. So the second card is, well, the third card, but the second card in the spread is where that motivation comes from. So was it a past experience that you had? Or perhaps your underlying outcome you wish to experience? Whatever it may be, this card represents where your true motivation stems from.
I really feel like this might call me out here.
That was quick.
fast.
Mm-hmm.
8 of Cups. No major arcana yet.
Mm-mm.
This is a pretty card. They're all pretty cards.
Mm-hmm. Dissatisfaction with the day-to-day leads you to reevaluate your
Mm-hmm.
dissatisfaction with the day-to-day leads you to reevaluate your life, where you are and where you're headed. You've strived to get to this. Why can't I read?
I need you to keep reading because I'm having a serious what the fuck moment.
You've strived to get to this point on your path and you're left feeling unfulfilled. Seeking a deep what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Seeking a deeper truth. There's a buzz in your ear to give it all up and chase your joy, even if it doesn't make sense yet. You've decided to take a stand for yourself and your happiness. Comfort in material and physical needs aren't quite cutting it anymore, and you're looking for a deeper connection with your purpose in life. Just looked at Grace. She
I
is.
want to get a picture of my face right now because this is.
You're like the emoji that you used when someone gives you like a shocked, you know what I mean? Like you're using that emoji for the shocked, wide-eyed, straight mouth, and it's just like, what? Like that is Grace. Where was I?
They won't let me take a photo either.
What?
I tried to take a photo.
Uh-huh.
The screen went black. I finally got it to open. I took a photo. I was standing still. It's blurry. I can't do a third one. I feel like they.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that? There are.
The
I'm
cards
like,
know that
there
I
are like
Looked
energies
like I didn't
here.
sleep last night. The
Uh,
cards are protecting my tired face.
All right, to finish the 8 of Cups, you've decided to take a stand for yourself and your happiness. Comfort and material and physical needs aren't quite cutting it anymore, and you're looking for a deeper connection with your purpose in life. Constant striving and achievement leaves you running on empty, neglecting yourself in the process. You're in the mood for introspection, discovering how it's best to implement your plans in nourishing ways. Discovering how to best implement your plans in nourishing ways. That was not proper English at first. Appreciate your journey so far in this transition period. You're ready to move past being comfortable and to start feeding your soul.
Oh my god.
Did you not just say that? I mean, I feel where isn't that exactly what I just said? Like
Yeah.
my motivation.
I would
for
just
this,
say that that's confirmation that mentally you're in that space.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
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 Like I'm ready for some kind of change,
Yeah.
depending on what the change is. But I
And-
need a change.
And change is more than likely
Coming no matter what.
the next what we talk about timeline, right?
Yeah.
And how we have these big moments in our timeline, and
Next milestone.
I would say
kind
you're
of thing.
close to one.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Mm-hmm.
that last fucking line.
Mhm.
You're ready to move past being comfortable and to start feeding your soul. Like that's your catchphrase right now.
I know. That's what I just said. I've been sitting in comfort, but it's not
Yeah.
fulfilling me anymore.
Mhm.
And I think like for just anybody in general, like wanting to make a change or deciding to make a change, if that's how you're feeling, I think this just told you it's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take that. I have
Absolutely.
goosebumps.
That was definitely like a confirmation of like do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So similar. So similar.
Yep, that's totally what I was
It's
just
crazy.
thinking.
Yeah.
That it pertains to our lives as well.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are doing the damn thing
Ye-
right
exactly.
now. And I think this card probably just told you guys, like, you're doing the damn thing. Like, hell yeah.
It's just so similar to our first reading for our podcast, which is what you're looking at.
I was about to say, that's really cute.
And I think we've posted photos of this, have we? Or not yet?
Not yet.
I don't think.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think we have.
we should do that.
Maybe by the time this one's out.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it's just like that was such a loving confirmation of
Yeah.
like just yes.
I feel like you don't even need to really like explain further on it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's just
no.
like it set out everything
Yeah.
that you already said too. And it's
That
And
was
then-
clear.
And then like
Yeah.
feeling wise, like I feel like your what is it called? Your guide or your spirit team or whatever just came over and just like gave you one of those hugs.
That's
where
what I
it's
felt like.
where like
the
you
goosebumps
don't
and like the confidence.
you don't even need the words. You just like that hug that's like Yes.
They are so proud of you.
I know.
I just know
Oh.
that.
Just so much like happiness and joy, and like I could just feel it. Like,
Yeah. And
there-
that's how how I feel inside right now is like ready and like confident and
Mhm.
like excited for whatever is coming next.
Yay.
Yeah, that visual I see with when it comes to numerology, the twos, where you're
Mm.
standing in front and then your whole spirit team is behind you, just backing you up and just being like, "You go, girl!" Like,
Yeah, they're your
yes!
hype team.
Oh, I have a hype team.
I have to say, the reason I keep tearing up, legit, is because I feel a sense of proudness, and I'm wondering if that's the vibe totally that I'm feeling for you. But what if it's from me for sure, but from your little like spirit guide, because I just feel it
I think
so
100% because like I just got goosebumps down
Mm.
my back, and I'm the last person to feel something like that. These two are like constantly vibing, and then I'm vibing off of them because like this whole reading on the wall, like our first reading, we always, like refer back to. They would be like, "Oh my god," and I'd be like, "Oh my god."
Autumn, I feel like you and I are very similar. Where we're just
Yes.
like Cece's crying over here, and I'm like, "You're crying."
Very much so.
Like, I'm happy for you.
These are very good tears.
Oh, I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so much love.
Yeah, and
feel it.
Cece gets me going. So I can't, sometimes I just can't look at her and I'm like, I'm ignoring, like I feel it, but if I don't look at her, I'll be okay. If I
Mhm.
look at you and you're crying up and crying up, yeah.
Crying up.
It's funny because Cece will trigger Brie into crying, and Autumn, will trigger Brie into laughing.
Yeah, giggling.
Yeah, it'll be interesting whenever Cece's getting me to crying and then Autumn just cracks a joke and I'm just like,
Bree's got some like war going on inside of crying and laughing, and it's just a whole thing.
yeah, all the emotions all the time.
Mm.
So the next one is how this is serving me. Now that you have deeper insight into your main motives, reflect on how they are helping you at this time. This card points to how your underlying agendas are serving a purpose. We got the Four of Cups reversed.
I like that card.
Ooh, so pretty.
I like how you have a right side up, reverse, right side up, reversed. Like
Yeah, it's been every other one.
it's a pattern. Me noticing my patterns.
Mhm.
All right. Opportunities are right under your nose. However, you are completely unaware of them because you are absorbed in your own issues. Instead of being open to the possibilities, you are convinced there is only one way to solve your problems. Achieving your goals is great, but remember, it's experiencing the journey along the way that makes the finish line so satisfying. Getting stuck on a negative train of thought is not constructive, particularly if you're the only one on that ride. There's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Protecting yourself by withdrawing away from your relationships is keeping you isolated instead of keeping you safe. Open yourself up to new opportunities, places, and people. Saying yes can actually lead you to exactly where you need to go.
Again. Wow. I think in just listening to that, like especially it saying opportunities being right under my nose, but being completely unaware of them, like maybe what is next for me I haven't even considered, which
I
would
think
be
it's
wild.
Yeah, like I thought it was confirmation to yes, having that conversation with your current company.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also having conversations with, the new company. I know
Correct.
that you had some reservations about that.
Right.
Like definitely do that. But I also, to me, it stuck out. So you had mentioned a business on the side.
Yeah.
And to me, it stuck out like while finances and all those like big factors are a big factor and need to be weighed considerably,
Yes.
you also want to make sure that there's fun to it and like that fulfillment sort of kind of thing. And it was like the journey. And that to me like resonated with that side business.
Yeah, like explore that a little
like
bit.
a new path. Cause like your current is construction, your next one is
Would
that
be.
construction?
And that would be construction. And actually the side business thing would also be construction, but also like a completely
But like in a new
different,
way.
yeah, a completely different
Yeah.
thing than what I've ever done before.
That's where I resonated. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's almost like, hey,
Don't forget.
don't take that out of the equation, because
Mhm.
that could be that
Well,
you're not weighing as much as
right,
the other
because it's a
two.
lot more difficult. And it
And
was saying getting stuck on the negative train of thought is not constructive. Like
Mhm.
for me, like that's been a lot of the hesitation is the negativities of like starting your own business, because
Mhm.
that's terrifying and I don't know what I'm doing. And it involves, you know, like trust and things that I'm
But I'm-
working on.
yeah, and
Mhm.
then but the journey through that
Right.
is what's going to fulfill you. So
Exactly.
that is what I got from that card.
Like even if it was something that didn't necessarily pan out the way I thought it would be the experience of getting to whatever the end there would be was what
Mhm.
would help me grow, not necessarily the end itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what was running through my brain.
Yep.
Like, spot on.
Saying yes
Ugh.
can actually lead you to exactly where you need to go. Like,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that
You're gonna leave here and be like, John, we gotta have a conversation that
Yeah,
needs to be
that's what's gonna happen.
I had a visual for this one too, and this is like anyone can relate to this one. Is you have it related back to the first two cards with what's the main motivation, where you have the confidence and planning everything out, and then you also have that like fear. And I had the visual of like you have certain ones that don't scare you as much, or like you're almost hanging on to them out of fear because they feel comfortable, they feel like good options. But then you have all these other ones over here in your peripheral that you know they're there, but you're kind of just turning your head from them. Like you're
Yeah.
not fully equally weighing every
Mhm.
single opportunity.
Absolutely, like a path of least resistance thing. The things that are comfortable will
Ooh.
always be what, you know, we look at first, but let's not ignore the things that might be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, beautifully said.
Oh, thanks.
You should be a podcaster.
Yeah.
Late night momcast with Grace and her angry baby.
Links below.
Links below. Probably not yet, but maybe someday.
I'll have designated space for Grace's links.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grace's someday links. It'll be me and the iPhone headphones, just AirPods in the middle of the night, just rocking the baby.
Perfect.
I'm sure no other moms could relate to that.
Oh.
My goodness.
All right, so how is this motivation not serving you? On the other hand, how are your motives working against you, preventing you from aligning with your highest good? This card represents the way in which your agendas hinder your progress. The Eight of Pentacles reversed.
Oh no.
Mhm.
Oh God.
It's the first word. You ready?
Yeah, no, yes.
Perfectionism is
Fuck.
limiting you from your full capacity to create amazing work by obsessing over minor details.
Wow. Okay, thanks, cards.
Frustration is building up after spending so much time and resources on a project with little reward. Your patience is wearing thin, and you're wondering if this endeavor is worth your efforts. Refocus on why you want to learn these new skills and how they would benefit your life in the long run. Release judgment around how fast and how good you are at picking up these new skills and avoid comparing yourself to others. Everything takes time. You are on your own unique path. Struggle is part of the journey and will be worth it when you apply yourself. Give yourself the freedom of trial and error and decide what works best for you.
Yeah, I think the perfectionism limiting me from my full capacity that's a huge part of who I am.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I resonated
Yeah,
with that.
like, wow.
Which is why I laughed.
Well, my entire life I've had an issue with wanting to like giving things up because I'm not immediately perfect at it.
Mhm.
So there's so many things that I could have done in life that I decided not to do because when I started it, I was a newbie. Like
It was hard.
Like, it was
Yeah.
hard. I wasn't great at it.
Yep.
So, and then I stuck with the things where when I started them, I was like immediately good at them. So I think this is like saying it's okay to, you know, be new at something.
Well,
Mhm.
and being new at something, there's a different level of accomplishment and
Right.
self-accomplishment
Exactly.
with it. Like you weren't just naturally good. You had to work your ass off. You had to practice. You had to put that time in, and because you did that, you appreciate the accomplishment more.
Right. And I think
Mhm.
actually that's funny. That's something that I've been learning a lot in like my journey, like at the gym, because I've never been an athletic person in my life. Like, God, no, I would rather die than run, you know? I mean, I would still rather die than run. But in doing the things that I do now, like the bigger lifts, the heavier things, the sense of accomplishment is that 6 months ago, that never would have happened. And the anxiety I had going into this journey was just unbelievable
Mhm.
because there's so many people, including my fiance, who are proficient at, I do CrossFit and can drink the Kool-Aid, guys. I did. But everybody around me, my friends, they are so much better than me. So it was difficult for me to get into that because of how I view myself as being a newbie. Not because I know they don't look at me any kind of way, but I view myself as, oh, I can only do this much, but they can do that. But
Yeah.
in this, I don't even know why I'm thinking about the gym. This just making me think
But
about it.
it's all
Yeah.
aspects of yourself. So you've
But
now
even in work, in this change, like frustration building up after spending so much time and resources on a project with little reward, that's exactly what my current position is.
Mhm.
Also, like in what the poll was for, my motivation not serving me is maybe don't focus so much on this change because of that.
Yeah.
Like, don't ruminate on the negatives necessarily and focus on this change because it's good for you in growth, not because of any kind of like negative or resentful feelings that I'm feeling in my current position.
Mhm.
Because I think if I
Absolutely.
change just because I'm like, man, I don't like this, then it won't be as positive. But if I change because I can see the goal instead, be like, no, it's not necessarily where I'm at now, but it's where I want to be. And that's why I'm changing, then it will be a much more positive change. I don't know where I'm pulling all that from. That just flowed out of my body.
It's,
Here you
Your
go,
it's
take that
in
back.
you.
I
Mhm.
also think so everything has like a turnaround, right? Like one thing has happened to lead to this thing to the next thing. Like that's how your timeline flows, and it's up and down. It's a roller coaster. But I think that like yes, you've had that new sense of confidence recently, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You've also just said that you were been doing something that you never imagined you would have done, and you've been sticking to it for 6 months. So I think that new confidence has spurred from that
100%.
in a way. And then now that you're like, oh, wow, by applying myself, by practicing, by staying consistent, building that routine, I know I can do it. And now
Right.
you can apply that same in different aspects of your life.
I think you're absolutely correct.
Mhm.
Yeah, the more cards we pull, the more I like get that confirmation of that
Mhm.
first pull with the 2 cards and the
Right.
duality of it, because it's like also touches on that imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
100%. I feel like any kind of young person in any kind of career probably feels a little bit
I
of
think
imposter syndrome.
I think anyone in any
Absolutely.
aspect of their life feels imposter syndrome with something that they have not done before.
Yeah, absolutely.
It comes down to the fact of like, oh, but there's people have done this over and over again a million times so much better than me. What can I contribute to this in a
Right.
way that would matter? But it's like that is where you need to stop that perfectionism
In the
and
comparison.
comparison
Yep.
and just know it matters because it matters to me.
Right.
And that's all that you need.
Wow, that was profound.
We have a lot of profound moments.
I love this.
Yeah.
And tell John I'm not coming home. Sorry, I'm staying in this.
I will forfeit my studio room for you 100%.
Aww. Look at that.
I mean, we already knew. It's Autumn's studio / Grace's
It's my
bedroom.
bedroom. It's very cozy. It feels like home.
Now we get to figure out the ideal outcome. So, just for a moment, put aside the need to make a decision and reflect on an ideal outcome. This card will give you insight into the end goal. I feel like we need to sit on that for a second.
Yeah,
Let's sit
definitely
on
like projecting what my ideal life would be like, regardless of what the job or the whatever is, like what
Mhm.
it looks like, just like as a whole.
Yeah.
What does that feel like? That was fast.
Princess of Swords.
Yes.
Okay.
And right side up.
So this deck,
Ooh.
instead of page, it has princess.
I like that.
Sparks fly high with a twinkle in your eye. Why do I feel like I should have sang that? Sparks fly high with a twinkle in your eye. There are a million ideas floating around in your head, and you can't wait to tell anyone and everyone about them. Combusting with excitement, your creativity and brilliance cannot be contained. The Princess of Swords urges to put your ideas in. I'm going to say the Princess of Swords urges you to put your ideas into action, to go for it. Young, idealistic truth seeker, you have a gift for gab that has the ability to translate effectively to others. Writing and speaking come easily to you, which will aid you when it comes time to spread your ideas and message. With a thirst to learn, you constantly ask questions and want to know the why of how things work. Your high energy and curiosity are endless and feed off your willingness to find the answers. With time comes experience, and the more you go after what you want, the more wisdom and experience you will gain.
The gift for gab. I feel like that was the nicest way for these cards to tell me that you just talk a lot. Or I talk a lot.
I think that the card is telling you that, like, wow, yes, you talk a lot. Like, what you're saying has merit and it
Yeah.
has influence in both your life and others around you, and to, like, take that into consideration during this change.
Well, and the funny thing is like if I were to change into a new role, whether within my company or within like a new company, the position would be more of a management position in a training of like people who like are below me and around me, and like really also being like the face of a project, and working with all different kinds of people across all backgrounds, and like essentially bringing them together to accomplish the goal. And I think this card is kind of saying like, that's what you're good at, so like hold on to what you're good at here in that sense.
And apply your natural strengths,
Right,
too.
exactly.
I had the word knowledgeable pop into my head when the gift for gab came up. It was more, for me, what I heard was, you're knowledgeable in what you're saying.
I appreciate that. I like that.
So I feel like that was where
I think that's
the
the
huge
confidence.
strength is. Yeah.
And I think I need like that. A lot of times that's where my
Yeah.
confidence needs a more of a boost, is understanding that what I'm saying means something.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like it says right here, combusting with excitement, your creativity and brilliance cannot be contained.
Yeah.
Like, to allow that natural part of you to shine through.
Yeah, let it out.
Yeah. I had that, like, the world is your oyster. Like, I just saw everything open up and it's just bright and it's just like, oh.
Yeah.
I think maybe this card is sort of saying, like, if you kind of go where it naturally feels good, that like the ideal outcome is going to happen naturally
Mm-hmm.
and easily.
It has that fulfillment for you.
Like, don't
Yeah.
force something that doesn't feel good, even if
Mhm.
it's like shiny and new, or if it's something that like looks beautiful and amazing on paper. If it doesn't feel natural, if it doesn't feel like it's something my strengths could naturally be used at, that maybe it's not what creates that ideal outcome.
It's almost in a way following your intuition
Yes.
more than your emotions, like becoming one with that intuition and knowing, okay, well, while that tickles my mind or whatever, I don't feel 100% with that. Or, wow, that decision resonated with me.
Right.
Like, holy fucking cow.
Like what actually
Mhm.
makes me internally excited while putting like emotions and even logic sometimes.
Oh,
Because I can
most
logic
times.
myself. I can logic myself into or out of any decision.
Girl, me too.
It's that Capricorn in me.
But don't forget that end goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. With
Yeah.
the end goal in
Mhm.
sight.
Yeah.
I was looking at the next card, and it's actions to take to achieve the ideal outcome. And I just foresee a bunch of cards coming out. I just know this is where it's all gonna go.
We're gonna be here for
7
the
to
next 3
14.
hours. This will be a 3-part episode. Because
All right, so actions to take to achieve your ideal outcome. Now that you have more information, this card represents steps you need to take in order to achieve the ideal outcome. Card said, nope, fuck you, we're not popping on this one.
cards are still deciding what I have to do.
Whoa.
What we got?
Damn, girl, you didn't get any major arcanas,
No.
but you got 2 upside down cards.
Mm.
So first we got 7 of Cups, and then after that we got the Queen of Cups.
And they're both reverse.
Are cups equal to elixirs?
Yes.
So emotions?
Emotions.
Oh, good.
Mm.
Yeah, Queen of Elixirs loves me. We're best friends. So 7 of Cups reversed. While it's amazing to use your imagination right now, you are teetering on delusion and pure fantasy. The real world can feel overwhelming at times, feeling safer to escape into your dreams. Grand visions seem like they're within your grasp, only to be whisked away to reveal the cold hard facts. Learn to decipher the difference between illusions and projected realities. It's time to get your head out of the clouds and back to planet Earth. Bring your dreams into reality by taking concrete action. Having your hands in too many cups can leave you overcommitted and unfulfilled. Instead of trying to do everything, what areas of your life would you like to focus on? Cut through the confusion with laser focus. Remember to set intentions to gain clarity and to ground yourself along the way. I'm going to read the next card too.
Okay.
Queen of Cups reversed. A lack of spiritual fulfillment has left you craving deeper meaning and connection. Bottled up emotions are in danger of bursting, leaving you constantly frustrated and overwhelmed. Feelings may be considered weakness in your upbringing, and as a result, you can feel uncomfortable with being vulnerable. Living in a fantasy has you glassy-eyed and unrealistic expectations. Mood swings and manipulative behavior keep you at a safe distance, where the Queen of Cups, reversed, can rule with a ravage of rage and melancholy. Other people's emotions feed off of you to where you begin to take them on as your own. Create healthy boundaries and learn to listen to what you are truly feeling, not projections. Protect your magic. You are the queen of your emotions.
I think that just especially both of these together is kind of saying, you spend a lot of time thinking about like the what ifs and the grand life that, I could build if I did this instead of actually taking the steps to build that life. Spend a lot of time in the clouds instead of taking the step forward because, fantasizing is much more comfortable than actually making those fantasies real.
I think that this again says, get out of that mind, like get out of like while your emotions are good and they should still guide you, you should have that intuition. Like
Yeah.
you should be
Yes.
following your intuition, not overthinking things, not
Right.
replaying them. What if shoulda, coulda, woulda kind of
Exactly.
situation.
And maybe even what you just said made me think about like stop worrying so much about what other people might think and just do what feels right, but also like just like when you can see the path, like follow the path even if people don't understand it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah. Like,
confidence to trust yourself.
Yes, because I definitely have felt a little bit, especially in like considering any kind of transition, like the concern of what are other people gonna think if I decide, what are they gonna say about me?
Well, it all falls into line with the like being a perfectionist
Yes.
and having to
And a people
be
pleaser.
yes, like having to hit that mark and like knowing that it's okay that your timeline again is it's a roller coaster. You're going to have ups and downs, but there's growth on each up, there's growth on each down and inclining and declining.
yeah, I also related it back to what I said in the goals episode or second episode, where I want to do something and do a change and I just fantasize about it like you were saying
Yeah.
at first. Like I see myself doing it and it's just like I'm doing it in my head and I kind of live in that fantasy instead
Nothing
of
goes
actually
wrong
doing it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. Like I see, like we were visualizing for this one, like with a perfect life, like that's comfy, like looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
But the steps from here to there might not be comfortable, but you have to take them to get there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by getting out of your mind, like you can't have that like perfect timeline so that I almost feel like when you don't fantasize about it, you can enjoy it more.
Yes.
because you're not like, oh, well, that didn't go how I planned.
Well, I
Oh,
think
that,
yeah.
Those expectations.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think one of my favorite like sayings that I've heard recently is be where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yes, it's okay to fantasize about the future because that's how we set goals, but also enjoy where you're at, because
Mhm.
where you're at now was your goal 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
So if you don't enjoy where you're at and you don't appreciate it,
The
then
journey.
right, you have
Mhm.
to appreciate the journey because the reward is really only a moment,
Yeah.
but the journey is your life.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I got goosebumps again. Okay.
There's many times throughout this reading that my brain has gone to Bree's method of like zooming out.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
these cards want you to zoom out.
Yeah.
And like by doing that, you can feel more present in that moment. It pretty much wants you to stay grounded, like
Yes.
ground yourself, be in that moment, like everything is like just like it already worked itself out in the past, it's
Right.
gonna work itself out in the future. You just gotta let it happen.
Right. Like take the concrete steps, but don't force things that
Mhm.
aren't natural.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's also really easy to fall into like, I have until this time to figure this out, and but I'm busy these weekends, and like you start thinking of all these
Yeah.
things that are going to get in the way up to that point. So you have to think about it now. You have to just solve it right now.
Mhm.
Yes.
But if you slow down, it's like, I have so much time. I
Right.
am in this present moment, and today is just today.
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about tomorrow, let alone 6 weeks from now or whatever. Like slowing down and being in that present moment.
Yeah, and just knowing like your timeline is going to look different to everyone else's too, because I feel like it goes right back to those like that duality of confidence and then insecurities,
Right.
perfectionism, don't compare yourself. And
Oh.
that's knowing like, okay, the timeline that I may have, like 3 or 4 years, I planned this all out. It's not going to work that way. It's gonna be different. It's gonna move differently from your friends
Right.
or your colleagues or your family members or whatever the
And
case that may
unexpected
be.
things happen. That just is life,
Yeah.
and I think, timelines that we set, like I have to be at this place in X amount of years, like that's all artificial.
Mhm.
We just set that on ourselves because we say we have to.
Well, it's what we've been taught.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a
society.
societal norm.
But the reality is if you are happy with where you're at or you're happy with where you're going, then
Mhm.
no nobody else's timeline matters at
Mhm.
all. You just figure out what fulfills you in all the aspects of your life that need to be fulfilled instead of
Yeah.
comparing yourself to the person who might be the same age as you but doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's manifesting too in a way where by putting that time and effort into the person that you are now and into the life that you have now, you're manifesting the vibes and the good changes that are going to come down your path and in your way later on. It's like putting yourself in those high vibrations.
And
You
I think
attract high vibrations.
what just like popped into my head is like this reading has been really like a confidence boost in making whatever decision I'm gonna make. And like I like that it doesn't, like I didn't expect it to, but I like that it doesn't tell you this is the correct decision. But
Mhm.
instead it's like instilled the confidence that I
Mhm.
will make the correct decision,
Mhm.
whatever that decision is. But also kind of the reminder that the cards are just speaking. They're still, I have to take the action.
Mhm.
Like these
Yes.
cards, it means nothing if
Yeah.
I don't do something with it. Like I feel that fire now to
Yeah.
like go
They've
forth and conquer,
they've planted the seed essentially for you. Now
Mhm.
it's up
Now
to
I feel
you
like
to
I need to
nurture
go
it and grow.
get myself a tarot deck again.
Yes.
One that's actually right for me because clearly the
Yes.
one I had before was not.
Yeah, look online, see what artwork pulls to you, or go to Barnes and Noble and kind of just look at them and see what pulls you.
I wish I wasn't going home tomorrow. I would go with you guys.
That would be so much fun.
But yeah, I think that was, I think the cards just gave you a really big loving confirming hug.
Yeah.
It was like you already are on that path. You've started that path. You've
Yes.
started that journey, and it's
The
just
right one.
confirmation to continue.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think like I kind of have clarity on what I need to do in order to,
Just
make
reassurance.
the most informed decision as well. Because I think that's what's really important is making informed decisions and kind of understanding what each choice means in my
Mhm.
life and in the people who I directly affect their lives as well.
Yeah. Also, just the vibe after the cards as a whole, after our first like official reading with it was very much touching on what you said with it's a guidance for intuition.
Mhm.
Like even the
Mhm.
inside of the box when you pull the cards out it says trust your intuition. So I'm excited to be using these cards. I think it's going to be great for our readings. I mean, it already is. Like the energy in here today, this reading was just,
It's very warm and fuzzy.
yeah.
Yeah. Fuzzy, warm and fuzzy is exactly how I
Yeah.
put it.
Like
Because
I feel
even now, I feel like
cozy.
it's like giving message heard.
Yes.
Fuzzy
Yeah.
message heard.
I feel just really content.
Yeah, exactly. And inspired for me at the same time. I definitely am curious as to how, listeners are feeling
Yeah.
after, hearing this, if it's helped anybody kind of figure out or gain the confidence in making any decisions.
So for like me personally, where I don't really have a fork in the road right now. I'm kind of I would say I'm coming down from that. I would say it's still reassuring. It's
Yeah.
still like, okay, I know and I have that confidence and not to listen to my insecurities that I may have and to rely on the confidence in myself to make that decision because I made it before. I
Right.
got through that obstacle.
We've
And
survived every single hard day so far.
yeah, and I came out better for it. Like
Yep.
I feel like through the things that I've done through my timeline, I had it and then it was gone. But I know I can do it. I've had that aha moment of like, oh shit, that happened for that reason.
Right.
And now I am so much better off for it, which we've talked about time and time again. And it's just
I saw something on Threads, which is our new favorite social media. That thing has got me by a chokehold. Someone asked, like, if you could go back to when you were 20 and change anything, what would you change? And my answer, like, just immediately was nothing.
Yeah, no.
Like, I've been through all kinds of stuff since I was 20 and at 20, all kinds of decisions, but every single decision has led me to where I am now, and I wouldn't change that for a second. Even like the hard things, the easy things, the things that in the moment I just wanted to be out of, like so bad, like they made me who I am now, and I can confidently say that I like who I am now.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I love that.
Well, I'm so excited that went so well.
That
That
went
was
so
just so
well.
good. That was so good.
The cards weren't like they weren't abrasive, they were comforting. They didn't yell at us.
Yeah. This is all great. And I think I don't even know what to say after that because it's just like it said everything. And
It
it's
really
just
did.
like
They were
it
very
put a
clear.
period at the end.
Yeah,
know.
like we were gonna pull like a couple cards, but I honestly feel at this point I don't know what more they would have to say.
Yeah, because even for me, like I'm also not really at a fork in a road.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost was like that check-in of like come back into the present moment, see where you are at because I made the decision for things and then just hold on to that feeling, that confidence and do the damn thing now. 'Cause
Continue
that's
to
where
do the
I'm
damn
at.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I heard confidence in myself.
Yeah.
Big message for me through that was trust it. It's there. Trust it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that, guys. This has been so fun.
Getting all the feels.
All the
Yeah.
feels.
And definitely our listeners, please let us know what you felt, what you got off of this on our social media. And yeah, I'm really curious what everyone else pulls from this.
Yeah,
Mhm.
how you resonate. You definitely please share.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so
Oh,
much
yes.
fun.
We loved having you.
Thanks for hanging.
Yeah.
I will anytime you guys want me in here, I will be here.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, so you're moving up here?
Yeah,
Okay, well,
that's
hold
what I
on.
heard.
Let's
Unfiltered
said,
4?
Unfiltered 4. Eventually. Gotta plant some seeds first.
All right, we'll just zoom you in and
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Unfiltered 3. Remember, we release new episodes every Monday. But if that's not enough, connect with us on our socials at Unfiltered 3, where we can uplift, inspire, and embark on this journey together. Thank you for listening and for being a part of our community. Until next time, take care and keep shining your authentic light. Bye, guys.
Bye.